so good to see you guys, okay? So, anyway, all right. Renee, thank you for taking care of the table for us tonight. Awesome. Paul, Dale, thank you, men, for coming up, getting things set up for us tonight. And it's an honor to have you come. It's a joy. One of the greatest joys, honestly, you'll see in just a little bit, is to be able to have these 2 hours with John Finnessy. And so here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to ask you to stand with us. We want to pledge allegiance to the flag tonight. Is that okay with you? And so we'll lead you in that. And then it's a joy to have Brother Wayne Holcomb. Brother Wayne is here somewhere. I guess he's left the building. Kind of like Elvis. Elvis left the building. And Brother Wayne Holcomb is pastor of Elko Baptist Church. We came to this area, one of the first pastors I ever met was this dear brother. And I've had a chance to preach for him a few times. But just a joy of taking that old church and rebuilding it. And they have a great crowd coming right there at Elko. And so, Brother Wayne, why don't you come down and be ready to go in just a few minutes here? So we're going to pledge allegiance together, and then we'll have prayer, and then Brother Wayne's going to come lead us in a song, and so you can remain standing for that song if you like, and then we'll introduce Brother John. All right? So look at the flag together. Here we go. Ready? Set? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Amen. Brother Wayne Holcomb, not Brother Wayne Holcomb, Brother Wayne Holbeck, did he come in? Can you have your dad come up for us, if you don't mind? He's tied down? Oh, he's hiding from us tonight. Okay. If you'll notice on the right up here, and it's a wonderful joy, Linda, and I didn't realize this, but Linda actually designed the flags to be there. We were going to put them all in a row, and Linda said, hey, I got an idea, and she designed that. Don't you like how they're put up there? Linda, thank you for that design. Wayne was bragging on you about that. And then Wayne came in, worked hard, and I'm not sure if anybody helped him, but did a perfect job. And, you know, now we have not just 4 branches or 5 branches, we have the 6th one, and that's SpaceX. And so the news has been all about them recently. And so thank God for those in authority that want to protect our country, and will do everything they possibly can to do that. All right? Yes, sir. What does that mean? I couldn't quite hear you. Help me out, Baldy. What were you doing? Oh, I got you. Okay. All right. Brother Wayne, I'm going to ask you to come up, sir, and pray for us. For those of you that are new tonight, we got 2 Waynes. No, 2 Waynes. You both coming. Okay? I was looking for you, and I had already asked him to come up. So come on up, Wayne. This is Wayne Holbeck. This is Wayne Holcomb. Okay. I'm glad my name's not Wayne. Okay. Absolutely. So, Brother Wayne Holbeck is retired. For those of you that are new with us, he's retired major, right, in the Air Force, and we appreciate him. His dear wife is up in D.C. and helping them make some right decisions. She is a brigadier general, and we appreciate Amy, and so I think we should always remember her in prayer, okay, because she's helping our great country. And by the way, and you love Amy. Amy is just she just has given her heart here to the church. And so, Brother Wayne, I thought it would be appropriate tonight to ask you to pray for us. We just had a pledge of allegiance. But let's pray tonight for our country, and then pray for this session tonight that God would give Brother John liberty to do what he needs to do here, okay? And then right after he prays, Brother Wayne Holcomb. And I want you to appreciate this dear brother, okay?
Let's go to God in prayer. Father, we ask that you bless this meeting time tonight, Lord. Give us the tools we need to protect those around us, Lord. You've given us the strength and the courage and the command not to be fearful, Lord, and we are not fearful this time. We are ready to stand up and be strong. Lord, we know that there are many that are trying to attack not only the church, but its members and society as a whole, Lord, trying to tear it down into something that we're not. Lord, the military is also under the persecution, and we ask that you guide the leaders into doing what is right, not for the strength and the glory of this country, but for your glory, Lord, and for yours alone. Let us all remember, Lord, that it is for you and you alone that we serve, and let us do it in a way that brings you honor and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Let's welcome Wayne Holden one second, all right?
I appreciate that. I might not get that big a hand after y'all heard me. But, first and foremost, I'm a Christian, and above anything and everything. And I served the country when I was asked to, and like many of y'all, I'm a patriot, and it's of grave concern to me to see the things going on that have been going on, and it seems to be intensifying and moving at a lot faster pace than I could have ever imagined. But this song, let me get this thing just right. This is, Brother Larry told me the nature of what we're doing here tonight, and to sing a song about America. And so don't be offended now when you realize this is not a traditional gospel song, but this is a song that speaks about some history of America, and it asks a question. I notice a lot of times in my Bible, when a question is asked, take special note of that. When God asks a question in His Word, take special note of that. And this song asks a question, and the question is, are the good times really over for good? Wish a bug was still silver. It was back when the country was strong. Back before Elvis, before the Vietnam War came along. Before the Beatles and yesterday, when a man could still work and still would. Is the best of the free life behind us now? Are the good times really over for good? I wish Coke was still cola and a joint was a bad place to be. Back before Nixon and Bush and Clinton, Obama and Biden lied to us all on TV. Before microwave ovens, when a girl could still cook and still would. The best of the free life behind us now. Are the good times really over for good? Here's what we need to do. Let's stop rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell. Stand up for the flag and let's all ring the Liberty Bell. Let's put an end to abortion, put Bibles and prayer back in school. The best of the free life behind us now. Are the good times really over for good. Y'all sit down. Thank you. Thank you. You know, Ronald Reagan, one of my heroes, he said we were always just one generation from losing America. Just one generation. Folks, we're scarily close. We're scarily close right now. And I'm gonna say to y'all, and then I'm gonna sit down, what I said to my church yesterday morning. Today is officially National Day to register to vote, if you haven't. What I said to my church is, think about the unborn. Vote for life. Vote for life. Isn't that what the Christianity is all about? Isn't it about life? Oh, it's about life. Jesus gave his life so that we could have life, have it abundantly and have it eternally. Wow. Praise God. Thank you, Brother Larry. This is truly an honor.
All right, Brother Wayne's going to probably close us out with a song at the end so you can go home with a good gospel song in your heart. Wayne, I'm glad you sang that tonight. That's tremendous. Well, you may be seated, all right? It's an honor to have Central Baptist Church represented tonight, right here. My brother, what's your first name? Is it Glenn? Yes, sir. Glenn, it's Central Baptist, right? We're glad to have you tonight, sir. Thank you for being with us, all right? And now, here's what we're going to do. The only way to introduce John Finnessy is to show you an appropriate clip about him in actions, okay? Take just a couple minutes to do so. And right after this video, whenever John leaves that chair in the back, okay, he drove all the way from Baltimore to be with us, I want you to give him a hand clap, let him know we love him and we appreciate him coming, all right? So let's watch this video. Thank you, Dale, for doing this for us, sir.
We continue to see a rush of Marylanders applying for gun permits and gun training classes.
And this comes after a recent Supreme Court ruling that opens the door for more people to be armed.
Olivia Dance is live after speaking with people attending those gun classes. So, Olivia, what did you find out?
Well, Mary and Kai spoke with several people today who signed up for the class immediately after the Supreme Court ruling. They tell me safety is their #1 priority.
It's been a total, just a flood of people coming through.
With recent violence and the Supreme Court ruling allowing people to carry guns in public places, John Finnessy, president of Fortress Training, has been busy.
The influx is so great, you know, you just can't physically keep up with it with staff. Matter of fact, we now have answering services that answer for us because of the number of calls and we want to deliver to people.
Fortress Training, which offers firearm training, has been getting thousands of calls a week, and Thursday's class was sold out.
People are concerned for their safety and the failure of government. When you combine that, people are like, I have to have a responsibility in my own hands, and that's what they do. And so they come and they want to be educated.
The training is a total of 16 hours, including both classroom and shooting range experience. After the class, you could be able to purchase a gun and get a wear and carry permit. People taking the course say safety is the #1 priority.
Nice just to have that security. No one ever wants to take someone's life. And a lot of times, even with a firearm, you know, even just presidenting it can deter a situation. You always want to de-escalate.
I have 2 kids, wife and 2 kids, so just kind of thinking about that personal protection, and now that it's available, just thought it's worth doing.
With crime in Baltimore out of control, more people are looking to protect themselves.
You always know Baltimore is a dangerous place, but you go there for the sporting events. But I mean, you're going to be a crime of opportunity, so just to not be that is, I guess, good.
1 week ago, Timothy Reynolds was killed during a confrontation with squeegee kids in Baltimore. Video shows Reynolds swinging a bat at the kids before shots were fired. And since then, another squeegee kid has warned that they are armed.
The city of Baltimore has failed the citizens so greatly in providing public safety that what's going to happen is, now that we know that the squeegee world, the kids that are out there squeegeeing, we know they have guns. Because of the failure of government, the next person that comes out of a car is not going to have a baseball bat.
Well, everyone today said being able to protect themselves was their main reason for taking the class. They said being properly trained on guns is important too. Reporting live in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dance, Fox 45 News.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sister. Okay. Well, I thank y'all. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that craziness that happens in Baltimore. By the way, I have 3 empty seats in my SUV. If anybody wants to go to Baltimore and experience this with me, right? Come on. Stay where you are, trust me. But I thank you so much for having me today. A lot of what we do in my business side on Fortress Training has turned into Fortress Missions, and Fortress Missions is a 501c3, and we travel the country, various places. There's some pictures of me that's down on the border of the United States. That's the coolest sheriff I've ever met. You see that upper right-hand corner there? Sheriff Rodriguez, he's in Starr County. Starr County, Roma, Texas, backs right up to the border. And it's literally, there's the parking lot, which is the Rio Grande, and on the other side is Mexico. It's that close. And he is so overrun with the budgeting that as a nonprofit, we were planning on down to work with just nothing more than just putting equipment in front of his deputies to keep them sharp, to deal with situational awareness, shoot scenarios, and to do that. But that man, he's got the cowboy hat. That's his horse thing. He's got a cross right there. He loves Jesus Cristo, right? He loves Jesus Cristo. And he said, one of those double belts with a 45 sitting right there. He was a real sheriff. But so we do a lot of that. And so a lot of that then comes down to safety with churches, and every church is different. So this crowd's pretty unique because I can customize this to however we want to go, right? We can do it a lot of the active shooter stuff, right? Which unless we had a whole safety team here, it may make sense, it may not. But most of you are probably, and you can say, here to understand how to stay safe, right? Options you may have, right? What you can do, and if you had to use a firearm, how to use it. Yes, is that? So we'll intermix all of it. Is that good? I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and talk through. You guys are in a unique position. Up till 2022 in the state of Maryland, from 1972 to 2022, you had to have a good and substantial reason. You had to have permission from the government, right, for the Second Amendment. I don't know if you know that, but there's only one Second Amendment. Right? I don't know if you know that. But it really isn't. There's 50 different interpretations. 29 people, 29 attorney generals in the state of Maryland, or the United States of America, say this: the Constitution is your carry permit. 29, you're one of them, right? 29 out of 50. The remaining have some sort of training requirement. It could be show up for a little class, sit around, do very little, maybe go shoot at paper, and now you got a permit to carry a gun. There is a big difference between either constitutional right or having a permit to carry a gun and being prepared to use the gun. 2 different worlds, right? So I want to share with you a little bit about how to use the tool to de-escalate or extract. I'll share stories with you maybe throughout the night about some of my students. I've had 29 instances over the last 15 years or so that I know of where people have pulled guns and have told me. Guns have come out. 25 out of those 29, it was a de-escalation or extraction situation, and they got out. 4 fired, 2 killed, right? And no charges. So I'll share some stories with you from the streets of Baltimore, right? There it is. So you guys good? You okay? We'll go to that. So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll stay here for a little bit, till 7 or so, a little after 7. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the stuff that goes on from outside of the traditional training box. The conventional training box is you sit in a class, you learn about laws, maybe a little bit about firearm safety, you shoot paper, and you're done, right? There's a lot more to it. And the first thing is to understand you have a tool. For those of you who carry, you have a tool. It's a tool. The tool is something to help you get out of a situation and get you home, and we'll show you later when we get to that, not to the prison cell nor the morgue, right? So we'll do that. So, you good? First thing I want to do, I want to thank Renee for allowing Larry to invite me down, right? Is this you guys don't know these, well, you do, right? Is this the experience you have? Is this what you're talking about, a loving couple, right? That truly want to give back and filled with grace and love, and we'll walk with you through whatever. And so I just want to personally thank them and edify them for what they've done for me in my life, right? So appreciate everything. You got a heck of a guy stepping in this void for you, and leading. So support them all you can. I was going to come down November, December. I might be down here later in the year. depending on how my schedule is. But I'll tell you how God intercedes and makes this work. Real blessing from the Lord. Isn't it amazing? He'll continue to bless you on that. Well, I'll tell you the blessing he gave me. 2.5 weeks ago, someone drove through the mirror of my F-250, right? Took it out, right? So I have to replace the mirror. So I get it to the shop, and I know the guy at the shop. And he gets the mirror in. He's like, well, we're having trouble with the mirrors moving in. You know, the things are, gears are messed up and all. He's like, I'll get it to you as quick as I can. I said, can you slow walk that a little bit? Right in the back of my mind. He's like, yeah, wow, what you got? I said, well, I may need a little trip down to Georgia, right, to check some stuff out. And then I got some friends I need to meet, a pastor in South Carolina, and then an executive director of a ministry in North Carolina, and then I'm going to stop by Liberty University in Virginia, and I'd like to do that on Enterprise's dime, right? There you go. So I got a new truck, thank you, Lord. So that's why I'm here, right? So I called him last week. I said, would you like me to come down? I can do next week. But it would be nice to stay at home, but I do enjoy being with people, so let's praise God on that. I want to talk to you a little bit about this. A lot of what would happen to you is a framing of your mind. We're going to get into that a little bit today. I'm going to share with you the M4 carry quadrant, something I developed, and talk to you about the physiological and psychological effects of carrying a firearm. But a lot of it has to do with the framing of your mind. And in 1 Samuel 17, it's a story of David and Goliath. Y'all know that story, right? Okay. So David obviously wins. But here's what we see. Over here's two armies, and it's like, man, look, we got this dude. Why don't you send one guy out? Winner takes all, loser serves, right? And we're gonna do this. And they're all afraid, right? Their spirit is all fear. Now, fear is very natural. You just got to go to the 3rd chapter of Genesis at 9th and 10th verse, and God's asking Adam, where are you? And he's hiding. Why? Because he's afraid. It's the first emotion we develop as human beings, fear, right? So fear is very real, right? The problem is we stay in this fear. Well, little David, maybe just didn't have the fear built in him yet, right? He's showing up, he's ready to go. What's he doing? He's bringing bread and cheese and, that kind of stuff down to the guys, and he's ready to fight. And here was the difference. The difference between him and everyone else was that the army of Israel, they looked at Goliath from the perspective of him being a giant. David looked at it from a different perspective. He didn't look at him being a giant and seeing him as a giant. He looked from the perspective of the Lord, right? That he wasn't, he's uncircumcised. We go through the whole Bible, you go through the whole thing. But the point was his perspective wasn't one of fear, right? His perspective was, we are the blessed people, we are of God. The reason why I share this story with you is so many times we start getting fear of the world, of what's going on. Is it a crazy world? Right? And we start getting into this cycle, and then we watch the news, and we do this, and we go on X, and we do this stuff, and we're ready to blow up. And I know if things don't go right by the 8th or 9th of November, the whole country's going to be in flames, right? I mean, that's your fear. Oh, look, what's going to happen? And that's what we think. So I want you to understand, it's very natural, but I want to start transforming you, in what you're thinking. So, good? Here's where we're going. There are 4 aspects of carrying that we don't really talk about. In the gun training industry, we talk about the last M. Created a thing called the M4 carry quadrant. And the way it came out of this discussion was a philosophy I started developing about 8 years ago, and it was the brain before the bullet. And I don't know if any of you have ever taken any classes that are tactical, where you're moving or doing things. But here's what happened when we started developing this concept of the brain before the bullet. I had people shooting paper, right? Everything's going great. Then we did one drill. And what we did was we created a barricade. And we put a barricade up, and I gave them 2 magazines. They needed 12 rounds. Each magazine had 6. So they were going to run out of ammunition. All they had to do was come out and shoot 3 rounds, kneel down, shoot 3 rounds, come around here, shoot 3 rounds, kneel this way, stand up, shoot 3 rounds. 12 rounds total. That was it. That was the drill. 2 things were going to happen. They were going to run out of ammunition, And 2, I put what was called a snap cap in one of their magazines. And in that snap cap was going to be a failure to fire, right? It wasn't going to work. And they were going to have to clear this. And also the barricade, they had to learn to stay behind the barricade, which a lot of people make mistakes and just stay right next to it, or go out. They did this. And when they either ran out of ammunition, snap cap hit, they had a failure, or they moved themselves too far out of the barricade, I was in their ear like it was day one in Paris Island, right? Right, day one in Paris Island, right? Tearing into them, right? Ripping into them. And guess what happened to them? It fell apart. They started shooting over here and this and that and the dirt and everything else because stress came into their body and in their mind, and they lost the ability to think. And so what I started to discover was that people, when stress was put on them, when they lost their brain, they lost the bullet, and it would go somewhere. And so now the reality is you're shooting the dirt bag, but next to the dirt bag, I put a target that was Mrs. Jones walking out of the Kroger, right? And guess what? You shot her. Now you have a problem, right? You know that you have a problem in your hands because you had every right to shoot that person, but not that person. And so from that, we started understanding the concept of the M4 carry quadrant. And there's 4 different levels that we need to train on that we never train in the firearms industry, okay? One is, the highest level, I believe, is the mind. If you don't train and condition your mind, and we're going to get into a discussion with this later, your frontal lobe will collapse under stress, right? And your ability to think and respond is not going to be there. And you're going to be a puddle of whatever, right? That it's going to fall apart. And you need to, you can't stay where you are and what you know. You always have to be situationally aware of what's going on, right? And staying aware of what's happening around you, because the greater you can keep controlled mentally, the more you're going to have controlled physically, right? On that. And so you need to stay where you are and understand that I need to know what's happening and how can I change. There was a speaker, and it was a motivational speaker. His name was Charles Tremendous Jones. He was out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He was born in the 1920s. And he went home with the Lord in 2008. And he had a famous quote. And the quote was this: you're going to be the same person you are 5 years from today, with the exceptions of the books you read and the people you meet. Have you ever met anybody in your life that changed your life, put you on a different path, right? Change your trajectory, right? Do that. That's what happens. But if we stay where we are and we don't educate ourselves, become smarter, whether it's books we read or seminars you attend, whatever it is, between that and the people you read, you're going to stay where you are. And we can't stay where we are. Even Paul tells us this, right? What's he say? Don't conform to this world. This is a spiritual lesson, but also in the gun lesson. But be transformed by what? The renewing of our minds, right? So your mind you have to renew. You have to take it to a place you're not prepared. Many times, when I'll meet guys that do a lot of shooting, here's what they think. The dirtbag comes in, I'm just going to shoot him. Maybe you'll get that Texas church shout off. Maybe, right? Maybe, right? Maybe. I'll give the guy full credit. But a lot of times it's not. Now, things are going to happen to you, like 165 over 105 blood pressure and 132 pulse. There's going to be things that you're not prepared for when you're shooting paper, right? So you got to have your mind in the game and stay straight and understand what the purpose of what you're doing. Is there, in this church, for example, security and safety, right? This is just something from a mind standpoint. You want to talk about something, right? A mind standpoint. This is a box right in here. I mean, it's a box. And you need to figure out, now this isn't tonight. This would be more of like a planning with some of the things I'll share with you. I'm just giving you examples. But it's really about planning with the safety team, and sitting down and like, okay, you guys come up with your strategies, but I want to just give you some best practices from big churches, little churches, things that I was in Baltimore. There's a church in June that had, they have 800 churches around the world, right? 800. Most of them are house churches in Africa and Asia, right? But they literally have 800 churches around the world. And they were having, every year they have an international convention. And there's about 1,500 people that come in each year, for this convention. So I know the guy that's the director. He's a former 101st Airborne guy, a Ranger, and he's the guy that does the direct. He's tied in with the FBI. Really ahead of the game when it comes to church safety, right? This guy's light years ahead. But he's like, can you come in? I said, yeah. He wanted to do some stuff, some training stuff and this stuff. And so I said, okay, that's fine. So we started talking because they ran into a problem. Here's what the problem was. It wasn't that there was 1,500 people and was someone going to come in with a gun, right? Because they have that down. You would not, it wouldn't work out, right? I mean, it wouldn't work out. They're very well trained, these guys. What it was here we are in 2024. Church has been around since the 70s. Back in 1998 to 2001, there was a youth pastor that loved children just a little too much, right? On that. And they all wound up, he went to jail for 18 years, and he went to prison, right? And got out of prison, I guess. I think he lives in Virginia or West Virginia now. And the problem was there's a liberal paper, there's a lot of liberal papers in Baltimore, but a liberal paper called the Baltimore Banner. And they were doing a 4-part series about the violations that happened to these people back in 98 to 2001, right, in the church. And that these people, what they wanted to do was now come for the leadership and say, you all need to step down 25 years later, right? So this was the issue they were confronting. This was the issue. So we talked about things like, what happens if someone comes in here and makes a scene? No guns, but just stands up. Now here's what you have to be aware of. Those people are very well trained. Don't think that the people that are anti-Christ, if they come in and make a disturbance, they're not trained. They're very well trained. They know how to position themselves. They know the videos to put. They know all that. They understand it. And we literally had discussions. And what it came down to was positioning people in different places of chairs strategically. And that if somebody was running their mouth over here, the last thing you need is, let's say you have 6, 8 guys. They had like 16, 18 guys, right? But let's say you have 5, 6 people. And you got people, and someone's running their mouth over here because of some issue that comes up in the church. And here comes 6 guys over here. Well, that's a false flag. The real dirtbag's over here. But you all got sucked away, right? So it was this whole planning of how to mentally stay aware of what's going on and where you are as your space. And that's critical. Because here's the reason why it's critical. In an active shooting situation, an active shooter throughout the United States, these are FBI statistics, will put a round on a person every 6 seconds. Every 6 seconds. So a lot of times, a church will say, well, we got Charlie, he's retired law enforcement, and they got 2,000 people in the church, and Charlie's it. And that's what they have. And I'm like, that's not going to work, because the question I always ask the pastor is, how many bodies are you willing to have on the ground? Shot, wounded, or killed? How many? Right? Because once one happens, 2 is 6 seconds away. And of course, there's a greater number the first minute or two, than there is down the road, because people are moving. And here's the importance why you are so important and why you need to be mentally ready and prepared if a situation happens. Every 6 seconds someone gets hit. That means within 1 minute, on average, 10 people have been hit. Maybe it's just shot in the leg, I don't know. But 10 people have been hit on average. Your response time to call 911 after you scream, cry, and maybe pee your pants, right? It's reality, is 90 seconds to 3 minutes before the first call hits 911. What do you think response time is once the dispatch gets all the information of you screaming? I have no idea. A gun fight goes off, the Baptist church becomes Pentecostal real quick, right? Because you're just screaming. Right? I have no idea what's coming out of your mouth. That goes over better in other Baptist churches. You're screaming things you don't even know. So they wound up with, you're trying to communicate, but you can't communicate. That takes about a minute and a half. Then dispatch radios to the sheriff, the deputies, and then the deputies got to get here. Your average time is 7 to 9 minutes, before someone might be longer, the more rural you go, that you'd have. So it's critical that you have people trained in a position. You know, guys, ladies, whatever it is. There's also alternative force things we can get into later, like burners, pepper ball guns, saber spray. We can get into tasers. You know, there's all kinds of stuff you can use that are less lethal. And that would be an example of some guy running his mouth. If someone's making a scene, and you go up to him and you're like, sir, can I get you to come with me? Come on, we can't have this. And he says anything, no, get away from me, whatever. He's setting you up for a confrontation. Just real simple, call 911, right? And that's it. And just everybody just let it happen. You start getting into a confrontation, physical altercation with somebody, it can go sideways, particularly if they're trained, you know, on this, and they have it. So there's a lot of strategies you can put in place. But your mind, just to be prepared. The second level that you need to work on is your mouth. Okay? Now, does anybody, it's so important today. It wasn't as important 15, 20 years ago as it is today, but it's critically important, particularly if you're carrying a gun. Does anybody have well water? Anyone have a well? Okay. What's your name? Avery. Okay. So, Avery, today I come over and I'll sneak around out back and I pour 5 gallons of poison down your well water. What are you drinking tomorrow morning? Bottle of water, right? That's what you're going to drink. Why? Because there's poison, right, that's coming out. You see, whatever's down in the well is going to come out of the spigot. Whether it's a good man, a good treasure, an evil man, an evil treasure, for the abundance of a man's heart, the mouth is speak, right? You know you're going to have. And so this is critically important for you. You need to get into your heart, even though you're in Christ. There's times and situations that may take you out of Christ a little bit. And guess what comes out of here? You blankety, 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 blank. I'm going to blow your head off, right? If you don't. And here's where the problem comes in. Can I have that thing right there? That thing right there. There you go. There's 5 of those people. There's 5 of those people. And you happen to be in Fulton County, and you happen to shoot someone that Fannie Willis would like to protect. And I can say that because I'm not from Georgia. And guess what you just became because you said the wrong thing? Aggravated charges on a hate crime, right? You know, because you said it. You have got to control what comes out of your mouth. And if you're not prepared for it, what's going to come out is whatever's down in the well is going to fly out the spigot, right? So we're going to take some time to talk a little bit about that. And your command words, and what are you saying? And why you should keep it short and simple. Third thing is your mechanics. Not only the mechanics of you, but the mechanics of how you carry yourself. Are you carrying yourself in a position where you're going to get, you're a target, right? There's no question you're a target, right? You know, and how you're carrying yourself. But not only that, have you built good fundamentals on firearm handling, on tactical responsive shooting? I didn't say marksmanship, right? Marksmanship is different. The majority of everything we teach in the industry is marksmanship. Did you, before you had constitution, what'd you have to hit to get a permit in Georgia? You didn't even have to hit? Broadside of bar, okay. Yeah, throw the bullet, right? That's how DC is. DC is like 50 rounds, don't care where they go, right? You just shoot the gun 50 times, you know, that's it. Most places you got to at least have some marksmanship. But if you ever take any classes, it's marksmanship. That's what it is. What I do is I teach a thing called tactical responsive shooting, designed exclusively for people who carry guns. I don't have a gun store that does training. I don't have a range that also does training. All I do is educate people in carrying a gun. I don't teach carbine. I don't teach AR. I don't teach rifle, shotgun. I teach one thing, handgun. That's it. That's the only thing I teach. And so out of what I work with is what I call tactical responsive shooting. And what that is there's an accuracy factor that you need to get into that will tactically allow you to respond. If you wait all day to aim this gun, you're shot, right? The problem is you can't aim the gun. You got to respond with the gun. Totally different, right? You know, and I'm going to show you some of this tonight. We're going to come up here, these little things up here, right? And we're going to work with them and show you this. So I want you to learn about tactical responsive shooting. And where the pinnacle of tactical responsive shooting is where you could take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, put it on a target, and shoot 5 out of 5 as fast as you can, and you hit 100% of the time. Not clip the edge, but you put a target up, and then put just a little 8.5 by 11. And from this distance, can I pull out and boop, 5, right? You know, that's it, 100%. If I can, I move back, right? Go, 4, I failed. Which means somewhere along the way, I got to work on moving my distance or slowing my speed down, because now it's a correlation of speed and accuracy. So tactical responsive shooting is how fast can I get that gun out, and how fast can I put rounds down range accurately, right, in a tactical response. Is marksmanship important? Yeah. But there's also 3 drills we're going to work on today that I'm going to share with you a little bit. And if we come back and we do a full day, I'm glad to take you deep. This is parts of this makes up a 2-day, 16-hour training, and some of the stuff I'm going to do for you in an hour makes up about 6 hours or 8 hours, you know, on a range, whether it's off range or live. So you're getting like it condensed, you know, but I'll work with you on it. So tactical responsive shooting is critical for you when it comes to the mechanics. I want a good foundation, right, that you have as a shooter, so no matter where you are and how you're moving, you have the ability to shoot. You're either going to build it on rock, or you're going to build your skills on what? Sand. And then a storm hits, what's going to happen to those with the sand? Go fall greatly, right? You know what's going to happen. You better build it on the rock. These principles aren't things I've come up with. So far, I'm telling you what Jesus and Paul's told you the whole time, and I went back to a little kid back, you know, just using the Word of God, right? You know, and to use it in training, you know, and to be able to share it. So it's to keep you safe, you know, on that. So we'll work a little bit with that today. I want to talk to you a little bit about what happens to you. I'm going to get into the physiological, psychological in a little bit. But I want to talk to you a little bit about stress. If you've been, Marine Corps teaches it, I think the Air Force teaches it. They may teach the colors or the OODA loop. You definitely got, right? You know, training on. And I'm going to try to combine these two. So let me talk to you first about, in the state of Maryland, they have this part from the Maryland Department of Health you're supposed to teach. It's a 2-day, 16-hour course. And I'm supposed to teach you this stuff I call counselor's couch. And what it is I'm supposed to be, now, so here's your knife. There's your knife, okay? So I'm at the gas station filling up, and you're coming for me at the, what do you guys got down here? You got Kroger? What do you got? Where's the gas station? I know a lady works for Buc-ee's, so I don't want the shooting to be at Buc-ee's tonight. Where? Circle K, right? So Circle K. So you're at the Circle K, and here's Dirtbag Danny, right? And he says, man, I need some money. And he's got that knife. Now, can I ask you a question? What's a strategy you can use right now? Pour the gasoline out, right? I mean, you don't even need to get to the gun, right? You don't even need to get to the gun. You're just like, right? Brother, I put that cigarette out real quick, right? But anyway. But it's true, right? So the guy comes up, he's where was I going with this? Do you remember what I was talking about? Huh? Oh, counselor's couch, yeah. So the guy comes up, and he's like, give me the knife. Here's what the state of Maryland wants you to do, right? The counselor's couch is where, you know, this. First thing I'm supposed to do is identify the feelings he's having and what's his problem for the day. Yeah. Yeah, this is it, right? What's going on today? Why do you feel that? Then I'm supposed to identify the impact of this going into my rib, I guess, right? And then they're supposed to see if you can resolve it, or if not, could you come back later or get a third party? Like, yeah, the dude in the red hat and T-shirt over there, the other guy with the sign outside, right? Can we get one of your buddies over here? That's what they want you to learn. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It may work, and I'll tell you where it worked. I went into the hood. I had a street church for 6-8 years in Baltimore, in the hood of the hood, right? And so that was one of the best experiences ever. Anyway, this one guy went to, we have a Royal Farms up there. You guys don't have Royal Farms, right? But if you ever do get one, they do have really good fried chicken. I will tell them that. So we have Royal Farms up there. And I went to a Royal Farms, and I asked one of the guys. He was definitely, you know, a street addict. You know what I mean? You could just pick it up. You know, you're struggling in life. And so I went up to him. I said, brother, I got to ask you a question, right? You mind sitting down with me on some stuff? I'm going to talk to you about some things. He's like, well, man, you got any money? I said, no, but I'll get you lunch, right? You know, if you just want to sit down, I'll get you. So guess what he's also going to get? He's going to get the gospel before the end of this meeting, right? So. But I asked him, I said, what happens if someone said that to you and they, you know, pulled a knife, or you had a knife out, and someone said, man, share with me your feelings. You know what he said? He said, I would probably be like, what? I'd be like, what the are you talking about, right? That's not a solution. But it just bought me time. I just disrupted his, I'm on Air Force, right? OODA loop, right? His OODA loop, right? That's what I just did. And what it is, and the reason I share this with you is this is where some of this strategy comes into place. OODA loop is this: you observe, you orientate, you decide, you act. OODA, right? And so we spend more time on it. But basically, here's what happens. Let me give you a real life scenario. I'm going through a highway in Maryland, and I'm in my truck, F-250. And so here I am, 8,000 pounds. I'm driving down the road. What I didn't know was there's a little 1,800-pound Mini Cooper next to me, right? And so I decide, Mini Cooper people, right? You know, I decide I'm going down the road, and I decide I'm going to change lanes. So what do? You observe first. Mirror, 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 right? Check your mirrors. You good. Orientate yourself to where you are. Okay, I'm good. I orientate my foot with a little more pressure on it. I get my hand ready, and I decide to act. So what do? You put your blinker on, you put a little pressure on that foot, and you start moving. And that little Cooper goes, eep. And guess what I did with my 8,500-pound truck? I moved out of the way, right? I got out of the way. You see, it didn't fix the problem. Well, it did because the Cooper was able to get by, but it bought him time. And when he said that, I would probably be like, what? I thought, you know what? That's a disruption of an OODA loop. So the reason is I'm looking for you to be able to do this. I'm going to explain why to you in a second. When you disrupt someone's OODA loop, it may not totally fix the problem, but it's going to allow you to distract, disorient, right, and maybe de-escalate. And so those three things are possibilities. I can distract you real simply. If you had this thing on, a knife on me, right, and I'm just doing something simple, like, brother, I want no problems. Just stay over there. Well, now he just looked away. Just a half a second, right? I mean, anything. It could be something that I drop something on the ground, right? It just gives them a half second. Here's the reason why. Let me give you some facts. I want to give you time. There's only two things you can do. You either get faster with your skills, speed, or you get more space for you to be able to get the gun out, right? That's it. In training, you have to develop these skills. And they're not taught, right? These things aren't taught. But here's the reason why. Do you know the average time it takes a young person from 21 feet? Do you know why I asked 21 feet? Does anybody know why I asked 21 feet? That's pretty much around the entire country the legal limit you have to use a firearm. It's a 21-foot rule. Lieutenant Tuller, Salt Lake City Police Department, did a test. And what he did was he determined how long would it take for someone to pull a gun out and to shoot it twice. And they said about 1.5 seconds. And then they said, well, in 1.5 seconds, how fast can someone come to you with a knife? And they said about 21 feet, right? So this is where they came up with the 21-foot rule. And so the reason is if someone has a knife at that door right now, and they're sitting over here, and I'm like, I have the knife. He's there with a gun. I'm going to cut your throat. I'm telling you, I'm going to cut you up. Can he shoot me from this distance? You're going to have a problem depending on the county you're in, right? Because what happens is you have other options right now. Lethal force is the last option you can use, right? And so you need to understand that. The use of deadly force, the rules are pretty much standard throughout the country. You got to be facing grave bodily harm, death, disfigurement, paralyzation. You have to have belief that was going to happen to you. If you're innocent, like I'm not sitting here and I'm baiting you like, come on, man, stand up. You don't like this guy? Stand up. I drove 800 miles for you. You better, come on, stand up. And then I shoot him, right? I got to be innocent. I can't do that. And then the last thing is you didn't use excessive force, right? Excessive force is maybe the guy's on the ground and you put 9 more rounds in him, right? That's a problem, right? So they're the rules of engagement mostly throughout the country. And you want to know them because you're not always traveling in your county. You know, you're outside of your county. And how that's prosecuted is by the state's attorney. You know, we have 23 counties, and I promise you 19 out of the 23, you got a little more flexibility than the 4. Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Baltimore City, right, and Baltimore County. You'll go to jail real quick, right? You know, on those things. So you have to know these things, and you have them. Every state has them, right? You know, every state has them. So you want to develop these skills, right, and have it. So the disruption of the OODA loop is about you just getting time, and here's the reason why I want to share it with you. If I disrupt your OODA loop, and I can disrupt you for a half a second, where that guy went, what? It enables me to be able to move back another 2 steps. If I move back another 7 feet, how much time did I just buy on average? I have a second. You got the math. Good. All right. So 21 feet, 1.5 seconds, divide that by 3, right? You got a half second. So that's critically important, right? So let's talk a little bit about a thing that came out of the Marine Corps, Colonel Cooper, and it has to do with the colors, right? These are natural responses to what you go through, and I want you to look at the physiological and psychological differences in these. The next one, you'll see these 2 girls, okay? These 2 girls, they have a real problem on their hands. They grew up in a place where they think the world's perfect. They live in a bubble. They have no issues. What are some problems they have? They have no idea what's coming. What mistakes did they make? Yeah. Dark road, yeah. Are they prepared down that street with what they have on? No. The watches are gone, the purses are gone, the girl in the short little dress may have a little bit of an issue there, depending on how aggressive he wants to get, you know, on that. You got a real problem. The biggest mistake they're making, first off, don't go down that street, right? That's not wise. Figure out another way. But if you had to go down that street, what decision could you make that they're not making? Go in the daytime, come back tomorrow, right? How about just move out in the street? Right, move out in the street, right? You see, if I'm walking here to the wall, how are you? How are you? Good. I have no idea, right? I mean, I have no idea. But if I'm walking here to the wall, you know, all of a sudden I can see things. And what do I have? If they were 12 feet out, what do they have? 12 more feet. So don't put yourself in that situation. You got to be, Got to have to come out and get them, right? And they're going to go 2 different places, right? So here they're toast. You know, so a lot of times though, we put ourselves in that very spot. You know, we put ourselves in the very spot. One of the things that I spend time on is this thing, okay? Everyone got these things? You need a good-looking grandson of mine. Yeah, he is, right? My grandson. Let me put him on national television. Right? Grandson. This thing will get you in a lot of trouble, right? So this is, if you really want to know it, this is what I spend my time on with my family, right, and friends, this thing right here. This is called a flip phone. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, right? I stayed in Columbia, South Carolina yesterday. I pull up, and I pull in, and the valet people there, you know, like, would you like us to park your car? I'm like, yeah, well, if I got to park it, it's $18. If you park it, it's $22. Go ahead and park it, you know, so you can do it. So I pull in, and she's like, okay. Now, I've been here a number of times. I watched the price at the Hilton downtown, because that kind of puts you right in the center of Columbia, and there's a Hampton Inn right across the street. If that's expensive, you know, you go over there. But it was a really good price. So I said, cool, I'll stay there. So I pull up, I've stayed there, and they used to give you the tickets. Here's your ticket. You know, now it's not that at all. Now it's like, what's your cell phone number? I'm like, well, it ain't gonna work. I'm too old for you anyway. You don't need my number, right? You know, you're 22, right? It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. So she's like, no, you know, just so we can text you. I said, you don't need to text me. Nobody needs to text me, right? You know, on that. I said, she goes, well, then when you pick it up, what'll happen is you just take this and you scan this. I said, let me tell you the problem you got. This. And she's like, huh? Right? I mean, she just looked at it. But what happens is you don't get distracted by that thing. You're not looking at it all day and walking out, making yourself a total victim. You know what you're doing. So, 4 colors I want to go over kind of quickly with you today. First one's white, okay? If you're ever in condition white, here's some things that are up here for you. You have willingly compromised your ability to respond if you're in condition white. Don't carry a firearm. Carry a bag of rocks, carry pepper spray, carry a chair with you, carry something, but not a firearm. You're not in a mental position to deal with it. Condition white is we're lost in social media. Condition white is you're at home, barbecuing, relaxing, you're sitting outside. Condition white is you are just brain dead to what's going on around you. We all have a right to be there, and we all are there. What I want you to notice is the physiological. Let me talk to you about the physiological and the psychological side. The physiological side is the heart rate's normal. The blood pressure's normal. You're relaxed. The psychological side, you're at 35,000 feet in an airplane just looking down at the little things you think are houses, and you're just having a good time and nothing's going on, right? That's where you are, okay? The problem is when it goes bad, you're not going to go from white to the next color I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to go over 4 different colors with you tonight: white, yellow, orange, red, right? And white, yellow, orange, red are the colors that kind of increase stress and awareness of what's going on and your physiological and psychological changes. What happens if you stay in white and you pull your gun, you're going to go from white to red, and you're going to see the difference in that. And you're going to go white to red, and you're going to end up incarcerated or dead because you can make a dumb choice, right? Because you weren't mentally in the game. The mind, right, was not engaged, right, on that. So the next color is yellow, right? And yellow is, notice physiologically, the heart rate is absolutely normal. No stress on the body yet. Psychologically, you're at 15,000 feet. I can see a pool. Matter of fact, I can see cars, maybe. You know, I can't really tell a car, but I can say, you're just tighter in the game. You're watching things. You're knowing what's going on around you. You're aware of what's going on around you. You're doing what I call papping, right? Papping isn't anything you're going to find. I created it under Obama's era, and you couldn't judge people. Like, I couldn't judge people. I had to accept them. So I couldn't say judge people, so I did papping, right? Which is predator awareness profiling, right? I'm profiling you as a predator. Here's the basic thing I want you to keep in mind. You're a lion, you're a gazelle looking for the lion when you're out there. Who's the one that's causing you danger? You're the deer drinking water in the pond or the creek looking for the alligator to come out, right? You know, and to get you. That's what you're looking for. You're becoming aware of what's going on around you. There was a girl once in a church that I was training at, and she knew me, and I was familiar with the church, and I knew some people in the church who carried guns, and so she comes down to me, and I'm in the second row, and she says, "Do you have your gun with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have my gun with me." Why? Right? She's like, "There's some guy in the back banging his head against the wall, and he doesn't look too stable." I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" Right? so I said, "Okay." So anyway, I wind up going over and get Brett, who was over here. Brett was on the detail, Secret Service detail of Pence, you know, at the time, right? You know, this era, right? So he was on detail with Pence. We go back to the sound booth, and the guy's back there. And he's like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I don't know. Let's figure out what you're the Secret Service guy. What are you talking about, right? I mean, you're all right. Tell me." He's like, "Well, why don't you go up and introduce yourself to him?" I said, "Why don't you introduce yourself?" So ultimately, though, what he did was he walked past him, right? Maybe, you know, where you guys are, right? Walked past him. And I go up and introduce myself. I said, "Hey, man, how you doing today? I'm John. I haven't seen you here before." He starts moving this way, slowly, right? Starts moving slowly. And he's like, "Oh, I'm okay, man." That's, you know, a head like this. I'm like, "Man, you okay, brother?" I said, "Yeah, what's going on?" You know what's going on? 10 hours ago, his wife was killed in an automobile accident on the way home. He's never been to church in his life. He's got no idea what to do or where to go. And he's nothing but a busted up man, right? That's trying to keep his head to get life together. And I said, "You know what? My brother, Brett, come here for a second. Now, what do we got?" Right? You know, I said, "Man, you know what, brother, we've all had struggles." I said, "You know what would be best for you today, all of us, if you're okay with this, Brett? Why don't we just, what's your name, by the way?" Right? And it was Bob. I said, "Why don't we just you mind if we just sit with you, man, and pray for you? I said, come on out here. Come on, let's go. What am I doing? Taking him out. Because what I haven't figured out yet is he going to get up and do this, or is he going to get up and do this, right? I have no idea. He wasn't doing that. He was crying and broken and busted, and so you've got to be aware of who's the predator, right? You've got to be aware of anything that's not normal. So we do normal things, scan rooms and all that. Orange is where you start noticing the heart rate goes up. Heart rate's going to go up a little bit. You're going to start feeling your blood pressure go up a little bit. Maybe your hands shake a little bit. Maybe you're not sure. Your armpits are sweating, that kind of stuff. You're going to start having this autonomic nervous system kick in. There's sympathetic and parasympathetic responses to your body from a physiological standpoint. Sympathetic is the things that give you all the super strength. Parasympathetic is where you start calming down. Problem is you calm down a lot quicker, and that's when people throw up, a lot, because of things that have happened, that the stress they're under. I have a client that went through something that was really bad, and he wound up, everything came, vomit, and every other, he was empty. When it was over, he was empty. Stress-induced diarrhea is real, right? It's real. Under great stress, it can happen to you. And so you got to start thinking about, and this is where we're going to get into this a little bit. I'm going to share it with you in the next scene, is you got to start thinking about what are you saying? And this is where the words start coming in. And I'm going to tie this screen, this shot, I'm going to tie in about 10 minutes. Are you okay if we go a little longer on this stuff? Is this okay? You learning anything? Yeah, okay, good. So, okay, cool. I just want to make sure, because I'm like, oh, it's 7:03, but I want to make sure. We'll have fun with this stuff. So you're in this orange, right? So the parasympathetic and nervous system kicks in, and you better start learning the words. I'm going to tie it in a little bit, but the words better be short, and they better be precise, and they better be to the point. Anyone have a dog? What's your dog's name? Lulu. What kind of dog is Lulu? Oh, so sweet. Gosh, she licks your face and everything, doesn't she? Right? Yeah. Oh, Lulu, right? You guys ever go to Buc-ee's and get her a brisket or anything? He's like, man, you better shut up. Oh, Lulu. Lulu. So Lulu, right? Great dog. I love labs. I've had 3 of them, so I'm with you, right? There you go. Okay, good, right? So you take Lulu out back of your barbecuing or whatever. Lulu's fine with little things like sit down, stay, that kind of stuff. But you couldn't have a conversation with Lulu and be like, Lulu, I'm thinking about either throwing on a salmon, right, and doing something with a salmon. Or Baldy's gave me some over here. He's given me some really good meat, right? Some prime ribs, right? I'm gonna throw some prime rib on, right? Which way do you think we should go, Lulu? Lulu ain't gonna care one bit, right? Because yeah, she just wants to eat it. That's way too big of a thought for Lulu, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. But this is where you better start coming up with your commands. Back up now. I'm armed. Move. Short, little things. I prefer to address people as you, right? You. Man, you know how many different people are out there? I didn't know this, but there's 52 different sexes. There's X, Y, XX, and ABC, and I even know it, right? So it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Oh my God, Lord Jesus, help us with this election. Right? There's a lot easier if you just address everybody as you, right? You can't get caught up in any of that stuff. Just you. So what's happening physiologically? Heart rate's starting to go up, blood pressure's going up. The last thing you get to is the red one, right? And the red is, it's time for you to make a decision. You're going to do something, right? You're going to escape this. You're going to command it. You're going to de-escalate it. You're going to engage. Something's happening, right? It's going to happen at this point. And this is where you get to the point that I will tell you this, trust your gut. And you can see the rest of it up here. Trust your gut. And now, in my classes, I tell them, whatever is inside of you, telling you to run. Whatever, if it's telling you to engage. I'm telling you right now, the Holy Spirit that dwells inside of you, when the Holy Spirit speaks, you listen. Okay, this is not the time when God tells you to do something, you want to negotiate. Right? I don't know if you've ever done that before, right? It's like, Lord, you want me to do what? Right? This is the time if the Holy Spirit tells you to run, I don't care how bad you are, get the heck out of there. God has something for you to do, right? Get away. If it's engage quick and engage strong, right? And get it over with. So I want you to understand that. I want you to do everything you can to avoid the situation to begin with, not to be the superhero that dies, right? You're the one that needs to engage the thing. So just know what it's doing, because if you freeze too long and you don't do anything, guess what happens? Funeral. Virginia Tech, 80%, 85% of everyone killed was in a professor who told them all to lay on the floor and play dead, because if he thinks he's dead, he's not going to come and shoot him. Those freaks like shooting people 2 and 3 times. What they don't figure out is rounds are going to come back on them. Do you know the last 4 shooters are transgenders? Right, yeah, right. But we're going through a difficult time, in this country. And you need to know, what the shooter's not planning on is being shot back. They run. You don't believe me? Go to West Palm Beach. When rounds went back, this guy's coming at him, Secret Service coming at him from a distance. He's got a tripod, he's in there, he's got it through the fence, he's got a scope. You know how easy it would be for him just to go. He's behind trees and woods, and these guys are out in a golf course shooting at him. What did he do? He wasn't anticipating rounds coming back. He just wanted to kill. He didn't want to get killed. He got up and ran, right? So most of the time, yeah, well, he was preparing. I'll get you now, right? But at this exact moment, he wasn't prepared for what was coming, right? He was not prepared mentally for what was happening. So he took off. So that's kind of there. Beyond that, you get into gray and black, and gray and black are conditions you don't necessarily want to get into. Gray and black are actually gray. The end of red and the beginning of gray is it's actually the time you are the most tactically efficient. You're seeing things in slow motion. You have tunnel vision. You know exactly where you're going. You know what's happening. Your ears are protected. You see rounds. You can see rounds coming at you. But it's also a bad position to be in, because you're losing peripheral awareness of what's going on around you, and you can get whacked, on that. So you don't want to stay in there too long. Black, you don't ever want to get to. How you get to black is you live in white, you pull the gun and you go from white to red, and then you jump over to black. Black you never want to get to. Black is, I was so scared I couldn't see straight. You're right. You're right. You can't see straight, right? You got it. Matter of fact, you probably can't even see. The sights are gone, right? You can't even see the sights. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little tip here in a second. Remind me about the sights. Sights are gone, right? I was so scared. I was scared less. Yeah, you were, right? It just came out. It was there. You had strokes. You passed out. Heart attacks. That's where these things happen in black, right? The key is live in yellow, be prepared in red, prepared in orange, engage in red, and move yourself back down through breathing techniques and things you could do. One of the greatest things you do is breathe deep, right? And get it in there. There's a thing called 4 square breathing. It's just 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, and 4 seconds nothing happens. And it will lower your blood pressure, right? It will lower your heart rate. And when that happens, now your brain, your frontal lobe will open back up and you can start thinking, right? So bring it down, right? Jesus, 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 right? Where calm me down, Lord, right? And allow the Holy Spirit to bring you back to peace. Because he gives you a peace that surpasses what? You ain't even gonna know what to understand it, right? Just use it, right? And walk in that grace and the love he has for you, and protection he has for you. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up in 10 minutes. Is that cool? Okay, we're gonna move fast. Let's talk your personal protection plan. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this was all developed. And how this was developed was I started realizing the mind, the mouth, the mechanics, how you engage, how you can naturally engage and be aware of what you're doing. And make it more natural and you're not thinking. And so a personal protection plan, when I started thinking about this, it came out of a buddy of mine, Scott. When we climb a mountain, right? If you ever anyone ever climb a mountain? I got a backpack in the back of my truck. Larry's like, what's this? I said, well, you never climb mountains, have you? Right? But it's if I get up into Asheville or Black Mountain, I may stop for an hour, just go on a little hike, so I'm gonna do that. If you ever climb a mountain, what do these guys do? They climb by doing what? Walking up hills, Stairmasters, that kind of stuff. We go to range, we shoot rounds. We never develop the other sides of our bodies. As a professional carrier of firearms, you need to develop all aspects of who you are as a human being. You can't leave things out. There's too much on the line for you not to do things professionally and the best you can, right? It really is. There's a lot on the line. Your family, your freedom, your money, right? So family, freedom, financial. A lot on the line, right? You want to make sure you got this down. So, but in the gun training range, we just train in one aspect, shooting the gun. My buddy Scott, who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the highest standing by itself solo mountain, right in Africa. This is him, and he's on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, 19,300 and whatever, 80 feet in the air, right? Almost 4 miles up. And my philosophy and everything I teach came from his mountain hike. This isn't climbing something in Nashville. This is much higher, right? This is 6 times higher than Nashville. So everything I thought of was solidified in his journey to Africa. And reason was this. When he got into where they were going to climb, the little villages were about 5,000 to 6,000 feet. He says, these things were beautiful. These kids were welcoming. They knew who were there, a bunch of American Europeans with money. So they're loving you, right? They're doing everything they can. They got all the trinkets out. Everybody's trying to sell you stuff, welcoming you in, telling you whatever you want to know. And he says, we did that. And then we wound up going up about 1,000, 2,000 feet. And now all of a sudden we're at 7,000, 8,000 feet. People had a little more wrinkles on their face, right? They're a little harder, still welcoming and loving. Beautiful colors. I mean, I saw the videos, pinks and the purples, and it's amazing what God's put out there, for us to see. And you see it all, this is beautiful. Well, ultimately, it gets to 15,000 feet base camp for this hike, for the ascent. And there's nothing there. There's no life. There's no trees. It's just a hut. Big hut, but it's where they were all going to stay for the night. And then at 11 o'clock at night, they woke up. And he has his little GoPro on with his hat and climbs all night to get on top of this mountain. He got on top of that mountain, and that picture was taken, and the Sherpas are like, come on, we got to go. He says, go where? He says, I'm up here. He's like, you got to go. We got 5 hours to get down this. He says, how long? Now, he just hiked for 12, right? Now he's got another 5 hours to get down. And you know what happened between 19,300 and whatever 80 feet and 8,000 feet? Because they went past the 15,000 and went to the 8,000 foot camp. You know how much video was shot? None. I asked him, I said, what happened on the way down? He's like, I have no idea. He says, I talked to rocks. He says, I peed myself a little bit, right? He says, I did that. I hallucinated. I needed Sherpas on little 8-inch drops. I needed to hold their hands because I thought it was 4 feet and I was going to fall down the mountain and kill myself. Right? He says, I really have no memory at all of what happened after the ascent and the peak. I said, and you have no video? He says, none. I said, isn't that interesting? It's the same thing that's going to happen to you after the gunfight. You got so much adrenaline dumping in you, you're not going to have the ability to think. So from the legal standpoint, let me help you. If you're ever involved in a gunfight, what don't you do? Talk. You've got plenty of time. If you talk the next 20 minutes and say the wrong thing, it may cost you 20 years. Don't talk. Officer, I appreciate all you do. I love you guys and honor everything you do. I'm back to blue, but I'm exercising my right to remain silent. Have a nice day. What's the second thing you should do? Always ask for a what? Lawyer. But what's the second thing you should always ask for? Particularly if you make the phone call. 2 ambulances. Why 2? 2 ambulances. Right? 1 for them, 1 for you. Why for you? For 2 reasons. First off, you don't know if you were shot or not. You got so much adrenaline in you, right? You're not sure. You don't know. But second, if you got gray hair, you got a belly, you got anything else that you can come up with, you got shortness of breath and chest pains, and I need to be checked out, right? I need to be checked out. I need a medical emergency. Why is that important? If I can tell you, I'm going to give you the ability to use government against government. Would you like that? I figured that, right? HIPAA. Your HIPAA privacy. Law enforcement cannot engage with you while you're under medical care. Use the tools of government against government, right? And protect your rights, right? Is that good? Yeah, yeah. No, they can't even talk to you, right? And demand to go to the hospital. I got to go to the hospital, right? I get this condition, that condition. Is that good? Yeah. That was worth $500, wasn't it? Right? Okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. Yeah, I give you that. And that's the only little legal piece I'm going to give you. There's a whole section on law, but shut your mouth, right? That's it, right? All right. Don't run your mouth. The second thing is I want to talk about the physiological and psychological aspects of a gunfight. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you so you can be better prepared, right? And whatever your scenario is, a situation. I'm also then going to give you options of less lethal and things we can do with training. I'm going to put you through some drills. So I think there is a thing on physiological, psychological up there. A slide on, where does it start? There you go, the brain. That's my daughter. She's a cute kid, isn't she? You can tell how smart she is. You want to know why? Last year she graduated from the University of South Carolina, so she's a Gamecock. So you know she's real smart. I got all these eyes looking at me now. She went to USC, right? So she... we
say bless your heart.
Bless your heart down here, right? I was waiting for gunfire to come at me, right? So she went to the University of South Carolina, and she was in the medical side and athletic training and stuff. And so this is actually her brain. And so they did this thing where they scanned your brain, and she gave it to me as a Christmas present. Like, look, isn't this a beautiful picture? I said, I'm going to use this. And here's the reason why I'm going to use it. I want you to understand something. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the frontal lobe and the mid lobe of the brain. The frontal lobe we talked about, and I'm going to that one slide where I said I'm going to talk to you about this in a little bit. This is where I'm going to talk to you about it. The frontal lobe of the brain is the executive function of your life. This is where your analytical thought, your higher thought, your reasoning, your ability to analyze, your ability to decide. It also has every PC filter that's ever been laid in your life of things you can say, can't say, and how you're supposed to act and what's the proper way to be, right? You know, that's all right here. Okay, it's all layered in your frontal lobe, which is there. Your midlobe is where your survival instincts, it's where all the decision making, your instincts, the fight, flight, all that stuff, you know, is right there. Now, I want to share something with you, and this is the reason why I'm going to tie a dirt bag into this for a second. The frontal lobe disappears during stress. The midlobe is where all your survival is. The frontal lobe makes up about a third of the human brain. Okay? A monkey's frontal lobe is about 17% of a human brain, of the size of its brain, right? 17%. That's why a monkey can have some sort of relation to you. It can understand things. It can do things. You know, I was in the fields and bushes and jungles in Nicaragua, and this missionary I was visiting had a pet monkey. And I'm like, I got to hold this thing, right? It was the coolest thing in the world, right? I mean, it was the coolest thing in the world. And it was cool. Wait for it to bite my face, but it was cool. You know, it was cool to have. So the monkey has 17%. A dog has 7% of a frontal lobe. That's why a dog knows sit, down, stay. And Lulu doesn't have the brains to be able to figure out, do I want salmon or chicken, right? It's because of the amount of the frontal lobe, that executive decision making isn't there. Make sense? A cat has 3%. So a cat's got to like you or not like you. Sorry, Nellie and Melly or whatever is in trouble, right? That's why cat's got to like you, not you like the cat, right? So that's what happens. But here's the reason why I share that with you. During an attack or stress, your frontal lobe disappears, so that's gone. Your ability to reason to be like, brother, man, just calm down, step away. How are you feeling? Why are you expressing this? Do you know the impact? That's gone. What you're down to is sit down, stay. Get that? You're down to the commands of a dog with this dirt bag in front of you. So you better be responding at that level, like, back up now, move, we're done, have a nice day, 25 out of 29 times, the gun came out and it was in a press ready, low ready position. The problem we have, and depending where you are, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. Because in this position, you're using what's called reasonable force with a firearm. If you carry a gun, you should carry something else. Pepper spray, a taser, something. Because reasonable force usage laws are this: I felt threatened. And I used the least force I needed to. I felt threatened, right? So how do you explain that? I felt threatened because I have I don't know, pick some heart condition, because I have a clotting issue, because I've just finished 2 months ago cancer. I just have, what's your name? Matthew. Okay, Matthew looks like he can hang a little bit, right? In the game. Matthew's strong. Come on up here for a second. Let me see you. See what I'm really dealing with. Yes, sir. Oh, yo, now you're ready. Come up like, come on, yes, sir. Right? Let's go. So Matthew's got some meat on him, right? I used to have that. Man, don't ever lose that. Right? Trying to get it back, man. I'm doing a carnivore diet, right? I'm trying to get it back, right? So anyway, who else is doing a carnivore? I know, right? There you go. So, Matthew, would you say he can hang a little bit, if he needed to? I'd say so, right? He's got a good build, good strength, endurance. How old are you?
37.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I'll put you down like 48. No, I'm kidding you.
I'm about to say, don't do me like that.
No, I thought you were younger than that, right? So that's good. So anyway, he's strong. So you would look at him. But what you don't know is 6 months ago, he was in an accident, and he's got 3 plates back here on his back, and he's got 6 pins up here on his neck, right? Now, how tough do you think he is now versus 6 months ago? He may still look it, but he's like, man, I can't be dealing with this problem. I got to get away, right? So reasonable force is, I felt threatened. Well, why'd you feel threatened? The guy was this big. Well, I felt threatened because I got 6 plates and 3 plates. Make sense?
Yes,
right,
sir.
so you got to be able to articulate it. So it's not always the outside of the book, is it?
No, sir.
You don't have any back problems, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, good, you're good. Okay, go ahead, give me a hand. Right, there you go.
CrossFit help me.
Okay, CrossFit. I like that shocks you got in your head. That's good. This is something very, very smart. Do you see his earpieces? Do you know why it's very smart? Situationally aware of everything that you get. Ladies, shocks. S-H-O-K-X, right? The men here are wearing that. Why is that good for your power walk? You hear everything. You got your power walk like this. How great is our God? Sing to me. Right? I mean, you're done. Get rid of the AirPod. Right? I mean, get the shocks. It'll cost you $150, but it may keep you alive. Right on that. God's like, I'm so great, I gave you ears. Why aren't you using them? Right? You don't want that, right? So, okay. So, frontal lobe. Make sense? Yes, sir. Okay, good. Mid lobe. That's where that fight-flight thing is. Here's what I want you to understand. Look at this brain. So the mid lobe's in the center, okay? Sitting on top of that, you got a couple of things I'm going to talk to you about. The hippocampus, the thalamus, that thing, the amygdala down the very bottom, that's about this big. It's almost like an almond, right? It's almost like a little almond. That is the first thing that goes off. That's the signaler, right? That's the thing that, boop, goes off, right? That's where it goes in. Hits the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland dumps the adrenals all through your body, and all of that sits right here, and right behind all of it is the spinal cord, okay? If you were going to disrupt someone's central nervous system, you want to, between here, look where all this computer is, right? Now, obviously, I want you to shoot center mass, right, whenever you can, because it's easier to hit. But if a situation where someone had, we did a drill last week. I do a drill where the guy's got a knife to your girlfriend or your wife, and you don't have a shot here. You got one shot, right? That's it. So here's what I want you to be aware of. I'm going to bring this home to you. From here to here Look up there where your brain is and what's behind these eyeballs and what's behind this soft tissue. Yeah. Not here, right? But everything that controls your life, everything that sends signals from your brain and your spinal cords right here, literally, boom, through those eyeballs, will drop that like a bag of rocks. You're gone. So, whether you get a shot, whether you wind up, someone you shoot, you wind up shooting them right here, or like right here, right through this side of their face, from the side, it will drop them and they will be dead before they hit the ground. The only thing that saves you is if you turn your head and it goes through your ear, right where your ear is.
Like Donald Trump did.
God has saved him twice. His head would have been blown off in Butler, Pennsylvania, and it would have been blown off yesterday. Because did you see the schematic of, he was on the 5th hole, the shooter was here on the 6th hole. That green on the 6th hole, 25, 30 yards, you hit someone with something coming at 3,500 feet a second, it's over, right? That's what happens, and that's why your brain's so important, because here's what happens. What other slides do I have? Do I have the amygdala? Does it go off? What other ones do I have? I want to just go through these real quick. Is there anything after that besides thank you? Okay, cool. Okay, so there's a whole other section. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so I want to do this. Go ahead. Is there another slide? Oh, that's it. Okay, so, okay, that's it. Thank you. Right? Here's what I want to do. I want to get a couple people, and I want to do some drills. You guys good with that? Okay, cool. Why don't we get, who has belts on first off? Belts. You got to have a belt on to do this deal. Okay. Sorry, I got to have a holster on you. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's do the mind. Okay, let's do the mind. Who was old man? Who was old man? Come on up here. Do you carry a gun? No. Oh, okay. Well, let me get a lady that carries a gun if you want to do that. Do you carry? No, you don't carry a gun. You just go. Right? No, you're okay. You're okay. Let me see. Let me get somebody. I'm going to show you how the mind works right now. You ready for this? Who carries on a regular basis? Anybody here want to admit it? Right? You carry? I've already used you, right? Anybody? Ladies? Anybody? I got you. Want to do this? Come on up. Come on. Okay. So, come on up here, Paul. So, is that a knife? What do you got there, man? Right? Okay. Let me get two things over here. Okay. We're going to do something you've probably never done in any gun training class again in your life. These things are called SIRT pistols, right? SIRT pistols allow you to do, this weighs what a Glock 17 weighs. Feel that, right? This is a Glock 17, right? It's weighted about where it is. This allows you to deal with things I'm going to teach you, holster drills, trigger drills, magazine changes, right? You can do everything you can inside a house, inside your home, inside this church, in real time, real situation. Yeah, I get it, no recoil, but you're not going to feel recoil either. So let me ask you this question before we do this. If all stress hits and you get this little, you can't see these sights, how would you aim the gun? First off, I'm going to teach you how to do it mechanically, but how would you aim the gun? Finger is one, good. What's another thing? Huh? Well, you don't see anything. I'm going to mechanically get you to where it is, but you see this barrel right here? You know what is directly in perfect alignment with the barrel? The back plate. Put that back plate in front of your face, right? If you can't see anything, just put the back plate in front of your face. You'll see it, right? But I want to get you mechanically where I'm going to shoot him anyway, no matter what happens, naturally. So that was just something we could work on later, but just a little tip for you. Here's your piece. Come on, let's go. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. You're not shooting me, are you? With that light? Okay. Whoop, I'm going to go there. I want to go here. Okay, so here's the way this works. You know what you're signing up for, did you? Right? So we're going to go back to the Circle K. Okay, so we're back at the Circle K. We're at the gas station guy, whatever. And so can everybody see these for the most part? Except right here, this lady's may be blocked. You're going to stand right about here. Okay, you're going to stand right about here. Can everybody see everything? If not, you can move around a little, right? Whatever. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. This guy's going to come at you with your gun. You're going to be in a press-ready position. I'm going to tell you, go, gunfight. This guy's going to come at you, okay? He's going to attack you. Your goal is to shoot this thing. As soon as I say go, you shoot it, okay? You continue to shoot it until you see pass, okay? It's going to say pass or it's going to say fail, right? So maybe shoot it 8 times. You may shoot it 28 times. I got no idea, okay? Here's what you don't know. This guy has a buddy, Little Shorty, okay? Little Shorty's going to start out with a smiley face. It's going to be green and yellow. It's going to be a big smiley face. Shorty can do one of 2 things. He can either go into a frown right here, or he can go into this sad face. If he goes to a frown, all he's doing is cussing at you, calling you names, whatever. Can you shoot him for cussing at you, calling you names? No, right? Sticks and stones break my bones, right? Yeah, that's it, right? But if this happens, he's pulled a knife out and he's charging you, and you need to take 1 round on him and the drill will be over, okay? If he does never change, just keep shooting. Okay, you got it? Good. Oh, there's one more thing. The police are going to show up eventually. So, what you need? An ambulance. Right. Whether you talk to the police, you talk to your attorney, I don't know. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but you're going to need to explain to the police what went down. Okay? And the way you're going to do that is when it's all over and the police come or your attorney comes, whatever it is, you have to eventually tell them what happened. So the way you're going to do that is when it's all over, there's going to be maybe, possibly, I don't know, but lights may blink. You need to tell me the order the lights blinked in. Okay, because that's how it happens. Now, don't worry about it, because you're going to hopefully do the right thing when the police come, because we have 20-some witnesses in this building, right? So don't you worry. They know what's happening. They're going to be able to do it for you, okay? Okay, are you ready? Go. Pass. You're good. That's a real interesting way you shot that gun. Let me see this. Put your hand in me. Did you learn this in Atlanta? Where'd you learn that? No.
How I pulled it out of the box.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I heard that. Did you hear that? He said how I pulled it out of the box, right? I saw that, right? Right, you seen a couple movies.
Why?
Yeah. Huh?
Because I was watching him, so if I could, I could.
Well, that's okay, but here's what would have happened. Let me tell you 2 things that would have happened. Go ahead, get that grip. Go ahead. Right, get that grip. First off, you would have tore your thumb up, right? Second thing would have happened is you probably would have had a failure of the firearm because your bone would have hit it. It wouldn't have got it in. So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. Oh, we'll work on it. Anything happen up here? Did you see anything happen? Anybody see anything happen? Sure? Yeah. Okay. You're right. Right? So you're good. Okay, now, let's do this. You can put that muzzle down a little bit. Let's get... Okay. Well, that thing, oh, so let me tell you about this. That went off. You weren't anticipating that, were you? I smelled it. So, what, is that thing going on? Turn it off. Here you go. Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if it was set. I'll tell you what this is. This is actually a Glock 17. This is a gun, and the only thing I did was this is a training barrel that shoots battlefield blanks and silent blanks. So you could literally do training where a person gets recoil, either in a tactical situation or someone who's brand new to guns. They can feel what it's like when a gun goes off, and they have them where they make noise, and then they have them where they're completely silent. You know, and nothing. It's just. That's it. Like you hear nothing. So these were battlefield blanks. And a lot of times what will happen is in a room clearing or something, you go in where you're hearing gunfire. You know, I'm introducing auditorially, I'm introducing stress to you, right? Okay, so you want to do it again and work on that grip a little bit for me? Okay, we'll get it. Okay, you good? Okay, cool.
No.
Uh-huh.
I told you I pulled it out of the box.
All right. We'll work on this right now. We're going to do this, okay? You ready? Go! Go, 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 go. Shoot that, shoot that. Go, 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 go. Keep going, keep going. I will see red. I will see it. Good, good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Whoop, what's happening there? What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? That guy. Okay, pass. You're done. You're done. Good job. Again, we went back here to stress, but we'll deal with that in a second. Okay, now. Woo, woo. Right? Eventually, police are going to come. Yeah, I'm Officer Jones here in whatever county I'm in Georgia. Georgia. Nice to meet you. Man, I appreciate you. Listen, we caught this guy here, and he kind of made a statement of what happened, but this guy obviously can't talk anymore. So anyway, what happened? Right here. What happened? Were you? Did you get attacked? Did you attacked? Was there a lot of conversation? What's your name, by the way? You got ID on you? Sir, you understand? We need a translator. You good? Can you hear? You need an attorney? What do you need? Attorney?
An ambulance.
An ambulance, okay. And I want to exercise my right to remain silent, right? You don't want that. Okay, now, good. Now you come to me, I'm your attorney. So now you can tell me everything. Right. So what happened, and how you're going to tell me what happened, is you're going to tell me the order, if the lights blinked at all, what order they were in. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The lights didn't blink at all.
Didn't blink at all. Okay. Now, we got 20 people. Okay, we got 20 people. Don't worry about it. Lights. Order. Red, yellow. Okay.
Blue, green.
Blue, green. Well, we got a problem here. Paul, right here. Yeah, blue, green. Did they blink? Didn't blink? You didn't see him? You just make it up? You good? Up, ma'am. No clue.
Blue, green.
Blue, green. When that gunfire, the first time it didn't go off, right? But when that gunfire goes off in real life, like when I did it, people will not be able to ever follow it. I told you twice what was going to happen, right? Now you, huh? Right, yeah. We got blue, green, and red, yellow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we're going to, let's say you got charged, let's just say, right? Because, I mean, you did put 36 holes in the guy, right? So
A lot of them were keyhole shots, so
okay.
you got to prove it.
Red, yellow, or blue, green? Which one you want to go with?
Blue, green.
Blue, green. Okay, so we're going to start. Testimony is going to be blue. Did you want to go with green? So now what happens is the state's attorney comes up to your attorney and says, listen, we pretty much proved this case out, right? There isn't much he's going to be able to do at this point. I know he's facing 15 years. I'll tell you what, see if he'll plead. If he pleads, I'll do 36 months, and I'll put 18 months probation with a 3-year stat doc over afterwards. And that'll be the deal. But if we win this thing, I'm asking for 15 years. Why don't you talk to your client? That happens every single day, and you have a decision to make, right? Maybe you talked too much, maybe you said nothing, but there wasn't a single witness that could tell you what happened. And so we lost our mind, right? We couldn't figure out what was going on in life. We wound up doing this, right? This training here gets deep into this stuff, right? I just scratched the surface for you, on that, because now you're going to plea. You plea and take that 36 months. You're guilty for the rest of your life. Gone, right? What we say? Red, yellow, blue, or green. If you win, you go home. If not, you're going to prison for 15 years. Which one you go? He's going home, right? He won. Give him a big hand. Give him a big hand. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Okay, let me get some guys up here. Is that cool? Let me get some guys up here for 20 minutes, or girls, whoever wants to come out. I need 5, 6 shooters, 4 shooters. Whoever wants to come up, come on up. Need to have a belt. Are you a righty? Well, here, you can clip this on. You just got to kind of push it. You're righty? Righty, lefty?
Righty.
Right, left? Don't know? Okay. Anyone else want to come up? Be a voluntold? Okay, well, I'm just letting you know. I won't embarrass you too much. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4. I got one more holster. Is there any lefties or righties? You righty? How about righty? Good. Okay. We got our 6. Come up here, guys. This is what I want you to do. One person's gun's going to be over there. come on up. Once you got your gun on, come on up and take a gun. The other stuff you don't need for tonight, I don't think right now. We may get to it. Go ahead and grab one of these. Just grab a gun out of there. There's 6 of them here that are open. Who needs a gun? There you go. Thank you, thank you. 1, 2. Got a gun, got a gun. Here's a gun. Who needs a gun? Gun, gun, gun. Gun, gun. Everybody got guns?
How's this clip on?
No, here. Undo this.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Push the button there. Or push it in there or something. Oh, that one way is locks, one way is open. There you go. Okay. Okay, gang. Do I need a gun? I need a gun, right? I got one gun short. Am I one gun short? Does everyone have a gun? Who doesn't have a gun? Gun. There you go. Okay, come on up here so everybody can see you. Huh? Okay. Brother, I'm going to move this over here if that's okay. Quick draw championship. We're going to get to that in a second. First thing I want you to do is this. Go ahead and spread this. You good? Oh, thank you, brother. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe another one out there.
A little wax pedal.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, why don't you guys go back here and just line up. Just line up for me. You guys can just be kind of close. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do, I'm just going to go through a couple of things fairly quick. Okay, first thing I want you to do is pull the gun out and hold it. Hold it. 2 hands pointed towards the dirt bag. So I'm just going to come by and tell you a couple of things. Okay, tuck. Remember the word tuck. Remember the word cup. Tuck. Remember tuck. Let me say it. What? That's okay. We'll fix that little problem. Remember a little bit of a cup there, a little bit, and a tuck. Remember that. Okay. So, whoop. Thank you, sir. Keeps handing me these. I thought he was handing me 20s. Here's what happens. In America, we have 3 common problems, okay? Tucking, cupping, and wrapping. Cupping is this, where you put your hand under and you learn on a revolver. Tucking is what most guys do, and that's where they grab the gun and they put their hand on top, and it separates their ability to put their palm on this gun. Wrapping is what Paul was doing back here, this. This is going to cut your hand, plus it's going to jack up this slide to where you're going to have a real failure to go into battery, right? You don't want to do this. You'll stop action real quick on this. So I'm going to give you one quick tip, and usually we spend a little bit of time on that, but I want to show you naturally where it is. When you come out of a holster, you always want this thumb up. This thumb's always up, okay? So when this thing comes out of the holster, it's literally that thumbs up. That finger's here right now, right? That thumb's up. And the reason is the hand naturally, the gun's going to go into, the palm's going to go into the gun, but then this palm is going to go on top of the gun. And your fingers are going to wrap, and both thumbs are going to go down the side of that gun. But I should be able to see both thumbs. I don't want to see this. I want to see both thumbs. Huh? Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get you there. I'll get you there. Now, what I want you to do is look. Get that. Keep that muzzle down. And I want you to look. Your support hand thumb, is it even with your trigger finger, or is it back here some? Does it look like that? Does it look like that? What's it look like? See how this is forward? This is forward a little further than that, right on your support hand. You see that? Okay, and put your thumb at it. Let's get that finger off that trigger there, John Wick. Right. That's okay, right? Right?
I'm ready.
I want to get that palm on the gun more. Okay?
Gotcha.
Finger, thumb. Okay, so most of you, when you look, you're looking at this. You got your finger, thumb. Here's the problem. You got a weak support side. Now, you might be strong enough today to do it, but under stress, you may not be strong enough, right? You got a weak support side. So what's going to happen is if you're righties and you're shooting low left, it's one of 2 things. Either A, it's a weak support side and the gun's moving, or 2, you're anticipating, right? You know, anticipating a shot.
Like the muzzle's getting pulled down.
Well, hold on, we're going to figure this out, right? So here's what I want you to do. I always want it to where this hand lands even with your fingers and thumbs, right? So what I do is this. I push my hand out like this and pull it back until it's even. It should look like this. Now I have both hands, palms on this thing. Do you see this? That's it. Now you're getting a better grip on the gun. You should be able to squeeze this gun like a lemon.
Golf grip.
Yeah, just line it up, right? Now, so what's happening is I'm lining up my fingers and thumbs here. A lot of times we'll see people do this where it's not even. You want to just make sure that hand, it's lined up right here. Now, I want to do this with you guys. Can we do this? Y'all got holsters?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. Let me see, while I set this up, I want to see, oh, do me a favor while you're doing that. Don't shoot these things yet. Well, they're not activated yet. Take your gun out. You got the grip. Go ahead and give me your stance. Let me see your stance real quick. Okay. Where are you feeling the support of that gun right now? Are you feeling it in your arms, your shoulders, your butt cheek, your left earlobe? Where are you feeling the support?
I feel mine on my back.
In your back? Okay. Where your arms, cheeks, elbows? Huh? Back here? Where? Arms? Where you? No support. Okay. Go ahead. No opinion. Right here? Right up front? Right here? Okay, shoulder blades, right back here. Okay, that's a pretty good thing. Here's the reason why. So many times people say my arms, right? I'll feel that. I'll feel it here. And the reason is that's how we're taught in a basic pistol course to shoot what's called the shooter's window, right? You're coming out of this window. The problem is when all breaks loose, right, in you, and all the blood starts going from your legs and your feet and your arms, and you're doing this. Now, if we come back November, December, I'll spend about a half hour just on your stance and your grip and how you're supposed to shoot this gun. You know, but I want you to do it. I want us to just see you come out of the holster real quick. Go ahead and come out of that holster for me. Go ahead, come out of the holster. Okay, go ahead and go back in. Yeah, that's fine. We're good right there. Go ahead and come out of that holster again. Okay, do it again for me. Go ahead. Let me say it one more time. Okay, now, how's that grip when you come out of that holster?
It feels better.
Are you getting to it naturally?
Yes, sir.
What happens if I showed you how to get there 100% of the time but never even failing? Would that help you out?
I messed up.
Oh, yeah, I messed you up, would it? Yeah. Okay, so here's the problem we have when it comes to holstering. You ready? Watch how people come out of a holster. There's two major ways they'll mess up. Okay, a lot of times I'll see people come out of a holster where they do the bowling grip, which is they're basically bowling the gun up. They're doing this, you know, when they come up to aim. Or they're fishermen. You ever see the fishermen? Coming down on the thing, right? There's some real reasons why that's a problem. Okay, that's a real reasons why it's a problem. First off, you're going to get the gun taken from you. Second off, you're not on target ever, right? I'm still shooting the ground. Here I'm shooting the sky. What I want to do is get directly on target as fast as I possibly can. Okay, so I want you to draw and shoot this target here, and then I'm going to talk to you about something. Yeah, I don't know, whatever's in front of you. Well, I'll move it up for you. Hold still here. There you go. How about that? Is that yours? Okay, good. Okay, so if you guys want to move them, you can move them up. I don't care.
I'm good with that. That's a chest.
Come on.
You going for the headshot, man. Aim small, miss small.
Okay, so these guys all talk to each other, right? All this equipment talks to each other. And if you guys want to see something wild, I have a 10-foot screen that comes out of Finnessy, which is a federal law enforcement training center. And this thing, it's absolutely wild because you have a 10-foot screen of real-life scenarios and situations you got to deal with. And you got to decide how you deal with it. The thing is, I can change the outcome on my computer. You can have one where a guy pulls a coffee mug. You can have a knife. You know, so it's really wild. So here, all I want you to do is just shoot this thing. Okay, that's it. Just shoot it. There's going to be a little time that comes across. Don't walk like this in the Walmart, right? We just stand like this, right? This is how we stand, right? Not walking like that in the Walmart. No? You okay with it walking like that in the Walmart?
Maybe I'll watch.
No? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. This is all good. They're going to go off. Okay, they're going to go off. Somewhere between 2 and 8 seconds later, they're all going to come back with that solid green, and I want you to shoot it. And when you shoot it, a time's going to come across, okay? This one I'm having trouble with. See if this goes off. If not, I'll get you one. Oh, they did. Ready? Well, that one didn't go off. Go. Okay, just shoot it once. You guys are ready. You're blowing the guy away, right?
I'm putting
Let me see down here. Oh, do me. I'll start with yours. It just didn't get picked up. Do me a favor. Pull your gun out and shoot it at the ground. Is it one light or two lights?
Two.
If you have two lights, just push your trigger, pull the bar on top forward, and it should make it only one. One. I just need one light. Okay, you ready? Okay, go ahead and holster. Hands off that gun, man. Come on, what you doing cheating? Go ahead. 1, 1, 1, 2. What are we getting? What kind of times are we getting? 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 9, 1, 6. Well, no. I'm just going to. What'd you get? Do you know?
I think it was
2, 1. Okay, so here's where the problem comes in. It takes me 1.5 seconds to get this into your chest. What's your draw time? You better get space or you better get speed, right? So, make sense?
Well, I don't have anything to get out of the way.
Well, I understand that, right? I got you. I know that. But I just want to see your draw time, speed. So let me just give you something to work on, okay? Let me show you draw technique. Everything I teach you, you guys can actually, let's go down here so that way everybody can see this. Why don't you guys stand down here? Come back, we'll redo these things and we'll do these drills over and over for you. You guys just turn around, I'm going to talk for a little bit. So, everything I'm going to teach you when it comes to drawing a gun is all based on your anatomy. There is no real aiming of a gun. It's just natural in what you're doing, okay? I don't care if no matter how tall you are, how small you are, how you're built, your anatomy is the same. Your arms are the same length, your hands are the same length for the most part, but we want to somehow disconnect this. We want to take this hand when this comes out, and we want to somewhere catch this hand up to it. Maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. But you know the problem with that? Your right arm and your left arm don't always talk with each other. So Wayne's coming at me, and I'm going to go shoot Wayne, and I say, stop! What do you think's the first thing I see? This hand's ready to shoot him. This hand's saying, stop, get back, and guess what I shoot? So you don't want to do that. You want to get it together as quick as you can. Okay? So here's the thing. Every movement you make is a 90 degree. I don't care if you're clearing garment or you're not clearing garment. If you have a jacket on and you're here at church and you got a shirt tucked in like this and you got a sport jacket on, I don't care. Hand still goes here. So here's the way it works. Your hands are 90 degree angles. Everything's 90 degrees. It doesn't, who wants to come up here? Why don't you come on up here for me for a second? Okay. What's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon. How you doing? I'm John. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You're going to get shot. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. This is a safe gun. Okay. This is shoots a light. You verify that? Safe gun?
Yeah.
Safe? You good? Shoot it. You good? Okay. Yeah. You know the reason why I did that? 5 law enforcement officers between D.C. and Delaware have either been paralyzed, crippled, or they sucked food out of a straw for the rest of their life because the instructor came back after training and pulled a real gun out, right, and shot them, right?
Make sure it's clear.
Oh, we make sure it's clear. But in this course, when we do this, we verify safe gun because he's going to get shot, right? So he knows that, right? So I'll make sure what I got here. Okay, you ready?
Going down, right?
Okay, you're going down, bro. Right? No, here's what happens. So let's say you're the dirtbag, okay? So if I'm coming out like this, or I'm coming up, or I'm fishing, this is really bad because if he comes and gets me, he can get a hold of this gun. You can get a hold of that gun and take it away from me pretty easy, right? Even here, if he's charging me, he can take a hold of that gun. Right now I want to show you something. Come on over here. Right now I want to show you something. You see that hand right here? This hand right here is going to break my finger pretty easily, right? You know, and then I'm going to have a broken finger. So stand there. So here's what happens. Actually, get over here. I'm going to be on this side so people can see it. Here's what happens. Every movement you make is 90 degrees. So this is where it's critical. This hand comes up to clear garment, 90 degrees. This hand, all I'm going to do is everything. I prefer the isosceles, and I'll get more into it. If we do training, I'll get into it. The reason for the isosceles is it's a great base. It's a rock. It's a foundation, right? It's not going to move. If I'm sitting here like this, and I draw, and 90 degrees is everything. All I need to do is my chest is this height. If I get a hold of this gun and I just drop my elbow, where is this gun pointed right now? Right there. Right? Now, this hand is 90 degrees. Here's the trick. All you do, you guys do this for me for a second. I'm going to tie it all together and we're done. Okay, let me get, and there's still things like magazines and triggers and things like this and much more greater depth. I'm giving you some answers, but there's some greater depth to it. I want you to take your hand, get your guns out, take your hand, and all I want you to do, watch this anatomy trick that was never taught to you. You ready? All I want you to do is slide this hand in like this. Here's your trigger guard. All I want you to do is slide your hand in until this knuckle, keep your thumb up, slide your hand in until this knuckle hits right there. Once it hits, you ready? Roll your hand forward. Perfect. 100% of the time. The doctorate of firearms training, right? I mean, this is it. It doesn't matter how big you are, how big your hands are, how small your hands are. If this hand hits here, guess what happens when you roll forward? Your hands are going to line up 100% of the time perfect. Now, you ready for this? Yes, ma'am? Now, revolver we're cupping. That's a different thing. We can talk about that. Let me just leave you on this one for today. You ready for this? Watch how this comes together. This is cool. So this is never taught. You guys ever heard about this stuff? No, right? So here's it. You got 35 years state police and whatever. You don't know the stuff, right? You don't know it. Most of it is, I'm an instructor for Glock. I love Glock, right? SIGs are great. But, Smith & Wesson, I got it, right? But I'm a Glock guy. Some of this came out of Glock Academy. Some of it came from the United States Marshal. I worked with their team a little bit. But this stuff I'm teaching you now came right here, right? This is where it came from. So this is what I want you to understand. You ready for this? Watch this. Remember how we did this? Ready? Dirtbag's coming, garments up, muzzle's here. You ready? Hand slides right across, and I'm coming right up. See that? Right? Hand comes right across, and I'm coming right up. Right? On that. And guess when I extend from here, when I'm pointing at 100% of the time? Him, right? So it doesn't matter. I shoot him. You're going to get shot now, okay? So I shoot him, okay, boom, boom, he's going down. All of a sudden I see another attacker. I'm coming back in. I see another attacker. I just spin and come right back out, and guess where I am? There's no aiming of a gun. It is a natural extension of my fist coming at him. There's no aiming. That's so critical. They're so critical for this reason. If you're ever involved in a church shooting, you better have it naturally where you can go, because what you don't want to hit is Miss Evelyn or Mr. Jones or somebody, that's been here forever. Is your name Evelyn? Karen. Well, Karens can get shot. That was too easy, right? Pray for me. She's going to pray for me. Oh, no, if you're the coffee lady, oh, no, you're protected, right? You're protected. Oh, that's your sister-in-law? Okay. I mean, I've started a family feud now. So I'll be thrown out, be ran out of Georgia tomorrow morning. Anyway, so there is so much to do with triggers, with magazines, with tactical positioning, but the holstering and triggers and magazine skills are so critical in a gunfight. And if you can make it natural, where you just naturally just turn, it doesn't matter where it is. Is that cool, this thing, huh? That's my phone. Oh, is it? So is that cool? That's super cool. Right, where you just come out, boom. Go ahead, try it one more time. Just come straight out. Don't rush it. Go home and just do this. Please do it with an empty gun. Do this and just come out and boom. And come back. When you come back, you ready? You come back here, and this hand's here until that holster's back in here, because if dirtbag pops back up, you can instantly turn and address the dirtbag. Make sense? Larry gave me the 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock exactly. God bless y'all. Thank you so much for today. I hope you learned something, right? So, is that good?
You good, babe? You good, babe?
Huh?
Hey, let's give it up for John. What do you say? Hey, all right, look here. If you don't mind, here's what's going to happen. Okay? Because some of you planned exactly 8 o'clock, but you need But if there are any of you that want to stay for a few minutes and have a question and answer time, you can do it. Okay, so I want you to feel at home to that. We won't drag it out, and we won't let just one person do all the talking. We'll equal out here. But I'm going to ask if Brother Wayne would come, and if he would, and to close us out with a song of that session. Okay. Hey, appreciate you. Get some good video tonight. Good video.